I'm Jana with Pearl Together, and I'm here with Lauren, a girl in her wool. Yay! So I asked Lauren to be on the podcast because she does some really cool stuff in her shop that I want to talk about. And she was also one of the independent yarn dyers that we interviewed during our Advent Vlogmas last December. But a lot of new subscribers may not have seen that. So go back and watch that if you want to. I'll put a link down below to that. But there's new stuff going on. We want to talk about it.
Yeah, always. 6 months later.
Yes. Right. So you're working, well, first of all, as I was saying before we pushed record, you are the only shop that I know of, or the only independent dyer that I know of that does the whole any size skein thing. And I think that's fantastic. Do you want to kind of explain what that's about?
Yeah. So our industry standard is that yarn comes in these 100-gram skeins. And not only are we like not one size fit all, but neither are projects really. So, you were saying you need extra yarn when you make socks because you have larger feet. I have smaller feet. I only use about half a skein of yarn.
Really?
Yeah, because I also like to do contrast cuffs, heels and toes. So like that takes a little bit, and I'm like a size 6, so I just have small feet.
I feel like you're just like about half my size because I wear a women's size 12. I kid you not.
Okay, so maybe quite literally half your size.
And you're probably like, I envision you being like half my height and just a tiny little person.
Yeah, I'm kind of small.
Are you about like 5'3"?
5'2" on a good day. If I
really? See there?
My husband's 6'3", so we have over a foot height difference.
Right. My husband is 6'4" almost, but I'm almost 5'10".
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, you're quite tall.
Yeah. So
and I'm quite short.
But that's great though. That's awesome that people have the option to get, but you do that with all of, like, I know that when I signed up for your mystery sock club of the month, we'll talk about all your clubs in a second because that's super cool too.
Yeah. But
I know that there was an option for like, what size mini skein do you want to go with your other size?
Right. Yeah. The mystery.
And I'm trying to remember. Okay. So like this one, I love this one, and I haven't decided what I'm going to make with it because this was May.
That was May.
So, yeah. So this is 100-gram.
Right.
That's just because that's what I chose. And then the contrasting.
Right,
yeah.
20-gram mini. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So people order. Yeah. So you choose the size of the skein, meaning I have people who just get minis. So they get either just the mystery color mini or both minis, and then everything in between. So people get 50-gram skeins, 90-gram skeins, 80-gram skeins, kind of all across the board. And it's just back to that whole thing of, why buy more than you need or why buy less than you need and play yarn chicken. Or if you have like 3-4 skein or colored projects and you just need a little bit of something, it's nice to just kind of get that little bit. So
right. Well, and some of the ones, like some of the skeins that have been the mystery, I maybe wouldn't have paired those together, but I'm also thinking, well, I got the 100-gram skein, so I can knit the socks I want out of that. And I might save the mini because I know that it goes well with some of the other minis that you have sent me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, now I have all these little minis and they're so cute.
Yeah. Yeah. The clubs are fun to just like play with the colors. So I have, the photo inspiration, but I really try to play a little bit more, and I don't have to repeat the color, so I can really kind of just do what I like, and I don't have to worry about, can I repeat this if I need to, which is really fun.
Right.
To do.
So people can go and check out all your club offerings and stuff and the different choices for the skeins. It's fantastic. But tell us, how'd you get started with yarn dyeing? Because that's not your day job. You're like one of these financial mathematics wizardry people that make the world go round.
Yeah.
But somehow you got started dyeing yarn.
Yeah. So I've always been kind of crafty ever since I was a kid. So when I was little, I did needlepoint. We learned needlepoint in elementary school. And I really was obsessed with it and I took to it right away. And then as an adult, I got into knitting because there's only so much like wall space to decorate with needle points. But who
Right.
has too many socks, right? So getting into knitting just felt a little bit more practical. And so I've just been obsessed with it over the years. And again, I had that problem of like I'm not somebody who likes to save a lot of things. And so having half a skein left over every time I knit a pair of socks, it drove me crazy. Like I didn't want to knit two identical pairs of socks. And I said, I wish I could just buy less. Like I wish I could make a 3-colored shawl and just buy what I need. And there wasn't anything out there for it. And so I decided to do it myself. You know, if you can't find it, then just go for it. So
Of course, my
I tried
mind is
it.
spinning. I'm like, you could just make a listing for all the half skeins, and then big-footed people like me would like buy them. And then I'd buy like 3 of your half skeins.
Right. But then you have more ends to weave in. So
Oh yeah, well, that's true.
yeah. Yeah. So
So you started because you wanted the size and the skeins that you wanted, but then you got started with all the colors. And I can see
mhm.
where your mathematics background would be super cool for that.
Yeah, especially with the any size skein. So I could see dyers who have certain colorways, they have their formulas that they list out, but
Right.
they're probably always dyeing the same amount of yarn. Whereas I could get somebody ordering a 20-gram skein of the same colorway as someone ordering a 300-gram skein. And so my formulas are all like to the point where I can cut them down to
Scalable,
smaller. Yeah,
right.
exactly. So that's why when I talk about like doing the yarn clubs and having to make formulas repeatable, it's really nice to not have to have it, in that scaling mentality. I can really just play. So
Well,
yeah.
and then you also have a YouTube channel as well that I'll link down below. And I've watched some of your dye with me videos because I think that's a lot of fun because I've only played with like, cake coloring or Kool-Aid. And so it's fun to watch your dye with me vlogs. And then you have a dye with me club, right? Where people can get a hold of the stuff that you've made in the
Mhm.
vlog. Do I have that right or not?
Yeah, yeah. So I post dye with me vlogs where I just either pick a topic or I just kind of dye what I feel like in the moment. And then I talk about it. So I try to kind of explain what I was thinking and what worked and didn't work. And then the only way to kind of buy those skeins, I don't list them in my shop, is it's just open to those in the Dye With Me club. So those in the club get a skein that they've previously seen dyed. So it's not a mystery club. You can kind of say, "Ooh, I really like this skein in this blog," and sign up for the club. And
That's
you know,
cool.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's not everybody wants a mystery. Some people are like,
exactly.
"Ooh, I really like that," and I saw you do it on the video, so that's a lot of fun because they know and they saw the process, and that's neat. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really
It's
cool.
definitely become popular. And I try to make it fun and change them up and everything like that. So, yeah.
And I must say, with your mathematic background, I was always impressed that you named your cat Pythagoras and Fibonacci.
Fibonacci. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Those
And
are such good cat names.
they are. They are.
Yeah. And they'll respond to it. Like pie, like we call them Pie and Nacho for the most part, but they will respond to Pythagoras and Fibonacci. Like they know both their names and nicknames.
Now, which one have we seen mostly? The orange one.
They're both orange tabbies.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so you probably have seen both and just didn't know. So Nacho is much fluffier than Pie, and Pie has white. So he has white paws and a white chin. Nacho is just pure orange and fluffiness. So yeah.
So are they like locked out of the dye room?
Yeah, they're not allowed in the dye room. They try to come in because I usually have the window open. So, of course they want that. And of course, like any closed door, a cat can't stand, right?
Oh,
So,
hate
like,
it.
if I close the door, they're on the other side of it. Like, what's going on? What are we doing?
So show us, we can see a little corner of the rose to gold gradient that you did for
Oh,
the
yeah.
Radvent shawl last year.
Yeah. You want me to grab it?
Yeah, because I think your gradients are fantastic. And that is available to people can order that in your shop right now, can't they?
Yeah, so I have my advents up for this year, but I also decided to relist the rose gold kit that Amba used that Amber used last year to design the Radvent wrap. So yeah, I have them listed as pre-orders now. So they'll ship within the regular Advent time frame. So kind of the fallish time. So yeah, if you missed out on it last year, definitely.
That's lovely.
Yeah. And it's a 24 skein mini skein set. So it lots of yarn.
That's great. And that mini skein set, those were 20 grams, right?
Yeah, they were 24 20-gram minis, yes.
Yeah, so that's roughly 92-ish yards. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do 92 times 20 or 24. Oh gosh.
I'll put it down below. But you're a mathy person. No, not in your head though, maybe.
No. Calculators are great.
I think it works out to be about 2,200 yards.
Yeah.
Here, I'll just do it. Because now I'm going to wonder, 92 times 24, 2208.
Oh, nice. That is rounding error. You are good.
Rounding error.
That's what we say all the time.
It was close. I was close.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yes.
Because if you're worried about that 8 yards that I just missed in my head, you're playing yarn chicken. So don't do that.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So people can pre-order that, and because you're going to re-dye from last year. And then you also have the fairy gradient kit that's up, and I love that. And you and I were just talking about how I might have to order more than one of those because there's a sweater that I really want to make.
Yeah.
And I'm more of a earth tones greenish person than I am a pinkish person, but I really like that. And Amba knitted that Radvent cowl. So people can see all the links on your site, but that's lovely. And then you have all the clubs going on.
All the clubs going on.
I know. So you have the mystery sock one that I do each month.
Yes.
And you have the Dye With Me club.
Yes. And also the mystery one, there's a mini skein set version. So you can
I knew I was missing something. Yeah.
Yeah, a 5 skein version of that. So it's the same inspiration photo, but I just make a 5 skein set. And of course, like you pick your size skein, so you can get small minis up to, larger skeins.
So in theory, you could have 100-gram minis.
Right, exactly. I always say they're minis, but yeah, I do them in 100-gram skeins too. So if you like larger coordinating sets. And then I also do, the last club that I do is a 3-month club, and I kind of just did one. So this is still very new, but with mystery yarn clubs, like you said, you get colors that are kind of different every month. And so if you like to have coordinating skeins, or you want skeins that go together, I have these 3-month clubs where the 3 skeins go together. So for the first one, I did a faded rainbow set. And then I'm still deciding what the next quarter will be, but that will start in July. So
that's cool. So you could have July, August, September that would coordinate, and you could plan like a 3-color shawl or whatever.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Or you could have 3 socks that would coordinate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to spend more money. You shouldn't have told me about that. That's fun. So how do you have time for like your real day job? Good grief.
Well, I don't, I work during business hours, and then I dye yarn at night. And then in the early mornings, I package up orders, and I try not to dye on the weekends. Like I'm trying to be better about, if I work on the weekends, it's really the computer work, because I can pick that up and put it down if I need to. Versus like dyeing is like setting aside a few hours. So I really try to dye like consistently every day during the week, and then give myself the weekends to really chill out. But it can get busy and stressful and tiring, but it usually like balances itself out, where I'll have a quieter week and then a busier week or something like that.
Until it's Advent kit time.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself again. I mean, it's so much fun, but I just remember it's exhausting. It's a lot of work.
Crazy.
Yeah. But hopefully, by this fall, it'll be where I could maybe have like, a relative help versus kind of doing it on my own. So, we'll see.
I wish you lived next door, then I could learn how.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But you probably don't want to live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, because next door to you is 2 miles away.
Do you think at some point it'll get big enough where you'll have to like decide day job yarn dyeing?
I think that would be a great problem to have. That would, I love doing it. So that would be definitely a dream come true. But, there's a lot of factors to consider and it's definitely not there yet. But,
Like, insurance benefits.
right,
Right.
those groceries we were just talking about. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would be so nice, right? But, always have to be realistic.
It could happen though. So a girl in her world just had your second business birthday.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's still relatively young.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm always trying to grow, always trying to think of what can I add? What can I do differently? What do people like?
Well, I think it's fantastic that you do the any size thing because, for example, if there was a color that you came out with that people just loved and you knew you wanted to make a sweater with that specific colorway, I mean, in theory, you could order an entire cone worth of that. I mean, and then you wouldn't have to alternate skeins and you wouldn't have to join anything, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I absolutely agree. I've made sweaters without having ends other than like the cuffs and, the beginning and the end. Yeah. Yeah. I'm all for the idea.
That's fantastic though.
Yeah. And it is hard to find sweater quantities sometimes, especially in a color you like.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do everything pretty much dye to order right now. So that's like not an issue, right? If you need a sweater quantity. And I think even too, like the term sweater quantity is pretty relative. A sweater quantity for me will be different than anyone else, right? Than you. Yeah.
I mean, I'm 5'10". Can you imagine like any sleeve that you would knit would be like to here on me?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So like, who am I to say what a sweater quantity is? I don't know. Right. So having kind of those larger skeins in any quantity really, it's good.
I think that's fantastic, but it makes me wonder, just from a logistical standpoint, it makes me curious. So you have those cones of yarn behind you. Mm-hmm. You would have to wind that off into some giant hank. Mm-hmm. And then could it fit all in one pan?
So I actually do up to 300 gram skein. So it's not like the entire cone.
Okay. So there is a limit.
Yeah, I do knock it off at 300 just because that's like, I mean, even winding it into a cake, I wouldn't want to wind it, wind much more than that into a cake. It makes a pretty large one.
Sure.
And I could fit more than that into a pan, but it was like when that's kind of a safe amount, and especially like in terms of practicality. So
and being able to scale up the dye formula numbers and
exactly. Yeah.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Still, even 300 grams is like 1,300 something yards. So that still drastically reduces the number of ends you'd have to. Wow.
Yeah. Or even, let's say you use like 600 grams for a sweater, right? So like 6 skeins normally. So you would get 2 300 gram skeins that you could then just alternate those two. You don't have to worry about like, oh, let me alternate skein 1 and skein 2 and then 2 and 3 and then 3 and 4, how you have to kind of blend them all together because you could still get the lines and everything. So it's just easier that way to have 2.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I mean, like I said earlier, that you're the only independent dyer that I know that does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
Yes. So you have your Advent kits coming up, and you have starting in July, the second quarter of the 3 skein club.
Right.
People can join the mystery clubs anytime, right? I mean, that's kind of an open enrollment thing. They can do that anytime. It's not like Signups are always open for that, right?
Signups are always open for those. They renew on the 20th. So you kind of, that's the cutoff for the upcoming. So where are we now in June? So June 20th, that's a cutoff for the July
Right,
club.
right.
Yep.
I know, because I always see where you like charge my debit card on the 20th and then it ships right on the 21st. And I'm like, yay, because I always get it
Yeah.
before, yeah. So that makes me happy.
Yes.
Because at the end of the month, when I'm like paying bills and stuff, it always makes me happy I'm getting something in the mail.
There you go.
I know. So those are open all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have a cutoff for the quarterly one that starts in July. That cutoff will be pretty soon, right?
Yeah, that'll be July 10th. I don't have those listed right now. They'll get listed towards the end of June.
Okay.
And then it'll be through July 10th. So that one I don't have set up as like, the mystery club, it's the July club. So I like people to have it by July 1st as best as I can. But this one, it's kind of just throughout the month. So I also needed to like stagger the clubs a little bit.
You think? For your own sanity, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I was curious, when you very first started dyeing yarn, did you start out with just like a little kit somewhere? Did you start out with the Kool-Aid or the cake dyes, or?
I did not start with Kool-Aid. It probably would have been smart to do, but I just went for the acid dyes. I got maybe they have a starter kit on Knit Picks, because I started with Knit Picks, their bare yarn. That's what I kind of tried dyeing on. So before kind of going for quality, not that Knit Picks is bad quality. I like Knit Picks yarn and I use it, but I just mean like it's more affordable bare yarn.
Right.
And they might have had a starter kit of dyes that
I think they do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I tried that.
So did you knit something with the first thing that you dyed?
Yes, I did. This was like when the Northeasterly blanket was really big. Do you remember that? It's a scrap blanket.
Okay.
And instead of doing like the mitered squares, you kind of do like a mitered arrow, I guess it's like pointed, and so they fit that way into each other and you make columns of them.
Oh.
So I'm making because I still haven't finished it, but I was planning to make a lap blanket. So it's all that Knit Picks yarn that I had dyed up for myself in that way, because I wound off the skeins into smaller minis, and so that way the yarn went further with my
and so what color was it?
The very, very first mini that I dyed, I think, was just like a blue tonal yarn. I just did blue dye. And then I did kind of like a speckly one, a pink and purple and gray speckly yarn second.
So you got right into the speckles.
Got right in. And it was amazing. That's why I never stopped. It was so much fun.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I want to try it. That makes me want to do it.
You should.
Well, I tried the cake thing, but I'm all about the fades and the gradients. So yeah, I mean, I just tried the really rudimentary, okay, if I use this much cake dye, I did like the Wilton's cake something, and I scooped out a little, and I'm like, okay, well then this concentration, it should be half as much for the next thing and half of that. And you know what I mean? I tried to, I'm going to have to do it again. Because I still have some bare skeins. I'm going to have to do it. But I just had the one color and I'm kind of sick of it now. So
yeah, maybe try that starter pack. I think there were 5 colors in it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So then after that, you totally just knew you wanted to do it.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to try it. And I think what we decided, as like a family, here's how much money we're willing to like say like, oh, if this all crashes and burns, whatever, you spend X amount of money on, so doing something fun type of thing, like that's your hobby budget for the year.
Right.
So yeah, so I went for it and just haven't given up yet.
And you set aside a room in your house and.
Yeah, so I started in my kitchen, and that got to be annoying for everyone because I needed, a few hours, and especially at the time when I was commuting, my husband and I pretty much lived in like different time zones, basically. Like I was just up so early in the morning and he was up late. So when I would dye, he'd want to eat, and it just was a mess. And it took up all of our kitchen. Like once I was growing and I had more pans and everything. So finally took a spare bedroom and turned it into a dye studio. During a pandemic when no one's visiting us. We'll see how it goes when we start having family over again. Oops, took the guest room, turned it into a dye studio.
Yeah, that's all right. They can sleep on the floor in the living room. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic though.
Yeah.
So eventually you might have to even have a actual kitchen. Like, is there, I mean, do you need water and stuff, or do you just carry stuff back and forth from the kitchen?
No, so the bedroom is like upstairs, and we have a laundry room right next door. So it's like a little cutout that has like the washer and dryer in the hallway. But we put in, one of the things like I had to have was a sink in there because that's where I wanted to wash my hand knit. So this was like, we moved in here before I was dyeing, but I knew I needed a sink to hand wash everything.
Right.
And so now that's my water source.
That's handy. That was good thinking.
Yeah, I know.
You knew somewhere you knew where this was going.
I needed that water source, right?
That's awesome. Because I'm envisioning you like carrying pans across carpet. I'm like,
yeah, that would be bad. Because we thought about the garage, and I was like, but then it was the same thing. I'd have to carry the water out from the kitchen out to the garage, and that would be a pain.
What about in the winter?
That was part of it too, but I feel like with all the steam and everything, like it's actually the summer I feel like worse dyeing in the summer than in the winter. But
yeah, that would be bad. We were just complaining about how hot it was
I know.
and here.
Yeah.
And we were saying how it's just nonsense. How people call it dry heat. You know what? It's hot. It's hot. It's whatever.
Right. I don't know what but it's dry heat thing is. It's still hot to me.
I don't like it. It's still hot. So we were just saying it's like 90 degrees here and it's like 90 degrees there. And we're both complaining. But you have air conditioning and I do not.
Right.
So
we have the humidity, but we have the air conditioning.
Yeah. It always cools off at night here too. I mean, it'll be in the 50s at night. So that's tolerable. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for all the stuff coming up, and I'm super excited about this year's Advent.
Yeah, beach sunset theme fade. So I have that gradient one, and then I also do a mystery mini one. So if you like random minis, I also do that too.
So will they be sort of coordinated, or was it random?
It's going to be completely random. And honestly, it's going to be random person to person too. So like last year I created 24, 25, whatever it was, colorways for the Advent. This is going to just kind of be pretty random. People will kind of get random stuff. So it might not be consistent person to person.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it really is like surprise every day.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm excited. I just love a good gradient. So I'm happy.
I
know. I just can't have enough. I can't get enough of the gradient. I just think it's fantastic. And if you throw in some tonals and speckles with the smooth, like that rose to gold shawl. I mean, that's a really good fade gradient. Yeah.
Like tonal.
Yeah. Love it.
Thank you.
So I'm excited. People should watch your Instagram for updates, because you mostly post on Instagram. I don't even know if you have a Facebook, but you're mostly on Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything just cross posts between the two. So I do have a Facebook page.
But if people want to keep up with what's going on and have a chance to snag last year's Advent, both the rose to gold and the fairy gradient one, they should do it now.
Yeah, definitely. Of course. Yeah.
Before I let you go though, I want to ask you what's on your needles. I know you're crocheting something from you're crocheting something from your Advent kit last year.
From last year, yeah. Yeah. So I'm not a crochet. This is like my second crochet project, and it's the same pattern actually, but it's the rainbow showers. And I'm using last year's Advent, and I'm kind of just going until the yarn runs out. I'm not necessarily following the pattern, so I'm hoping it's a long kind of table runner. And then this is the rest of it. So I'm on like the 6th color or something.
Now, can people buy that kit too?
Yeah. So I also have this one listed.
Why didn't we talk about that a minute ago?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. So this was last year's mystery gradient set that's available. And I figure it's the same thing we were talking about earlier. Not everyone loves a mystery. So if you don't want to leave it up to chance, you already know what this one looks like. So that one is also available. And it would ship again like later in the fall.
Yeah, because you're going to take all the pre-orders and then start doing the dyeing batches and then send them out like early November, late October, whatever, whenever your schedule allows. But certainly in plenty of time for people to get them before we all start opening fun things on December 1st.
Yes, and I also do 8 nights of Hanukkah. So kind of like the same, like I did an 8 nights of Hanukkah of this fade where it was just a more condensed version of the fade. So if people want it, and Hanukkah I think starts a little bit in late November, so that would also ship in time to get there before the 8 nights of Hanukkah starts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do it.
So lots going on always. I keep myself very busy.
You do. So people can follow you mostly on Instagram, and you do your YouTube vlogs, the Dye With Me, as well as the updates. Oh, and the stickers. The stickers. Talk about the stickers.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't bring my book over. Okay. Yeah, we can talk about the stickers. I have some of them here. So I do craft journal stickers. So for people who want to keep like have a keepsake. So I use a blank notebook, and then I just have some of these sticker kits. So this is a project highlight page where you would track your project. So it has like patterns and the designer and what colors you use, your gauge, your notes that you want to take, and things like that. And then I
love that because I keep a journal, an actual knitting journal. Yeah. I mean, I do Ravelry. I put stuff on Ravelry, but I like that paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it.
Yeah. And so I have those, and then I also have month kits, so you can keep track of what you worked on in that month. And I have stash in kits, stash out, local yarn store trackers. Like I just have a million things, so you can take a blank notebook. You don't need to fit into like a pre-made mold that someone kind of created a notebook out of, and you can kind of just decorate it and make it fun.
That's cool. And I want to say that those are available in like the A5 size, the 8.5 by 5, or the 8.5 by 11. Either.
Yeah, I have larger sizes as well if you want to do it on computer paper or in a binder or scrapbook or something like that. Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we keep coming up with more things to talk about. But wait, there's more.
I'm sorry.
No, that's great. The stickers are great. The flowery ones for June were really pretty.
Yes. Yeah. June, everyone, I think, really loved that. I think this is the style you mean, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. What do the July ones look like? Or do we not know yet?
You do know. I'll go grab them.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have like a couple, I think. I don't have like too many cut yet, I don't think, for July, but maybe I do. Yeah. Okay, so July, there's 2. So I can show you one of them.
Okay.
So there's 2. So one of them is like blue sunflowers, and then one of them is like a bright tropical.
Oh, right. I did see that on your website. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this summer in the tropics kind of party theme there. Oh, speaking of party, I don't understand. What is the splash pad party? I don't get that. You got to explain that to me.
So that's a make along hosted by someone else. So Boston Jen, she does the Down Cellar Studio podcast, and it's just the summer make along where it's like whips are allowed. It's really low key, and you don't have to make something in particular. You can make anything, and then you get entries for prizes based on, I think it's like every 50 grams you get a point. And so I'm a sponsor of that. So if someone uses my yarn, they get extra entries for using that in their project. So it's just like a fun summer thing, and you get entries for small things. So if like the summer you like to knit little things because it's hot and we don't like heat so much, you can still get good prizes and everything.
Okay, so we'll put the link for that. Send me that. Send me the link for that's cool. Yeah, people might want to check that out. Sure.
Yeah, and she has like this a Ravelry group for it, but I think she also you can sign up just through like a Google form. So if you don't use Ravelry,
okay,
you can.
There's an alternative way to participate if you're not somebody that can use Ravelry. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds fun. You have a lot. You have a lot of things going on.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me and looking at all of my stuff.
Oh, it's fun. It's super fun. So people should head on over to check out agirlinherwool.com and it's all there. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Lauren.